cooperation. My monologue on that in just a moment. First, breaking tonight, new video has surfaced. Now, it appears to show Alex Pretty is allegedly 11 days before he was killed in a Border Patrol-involved shooting in a confrontation with federal immigration agents. In the video, Pretty appears to spit on one officer before kicking out the car's taillight. Our very own Garrett Tenney has the very latest on the ground in Minneapolis. Wow. It looks like this guy was being pretty violent, confrontational with law enforcement. We know for sure it's him.
Yeah, well, Sean, this video shows that this past Saturday wasn't the first time that Alex Pretty got into some type of scuffle with federal agents. A family member has confirmed that this is Alex Pretty that you see in this new video. And you can see here, as you mentioned, he appears to spit at ICE officers as they get into their cars. And then as they're driving away, he kicks the taillight 2 times until he breaks it. Then at that point, an ICE officer gets out and takes Pretty to the ground. Other officers come over to help, and you can see Pretty's jacket comes off at some point. A little further on in the video, you can see he has a pistol, which he legally had, and it's in his waistband behind his back, much like it was this past Saturday. Now, it's not clear whether or not these ICE agents saw the gun in his waistband, but there weren't any alarms raised as they're taking him down and wrestling with him there. They ultimately just let him go. Regarding this new video, the Pretty family's attorney tells us a week before Alex was gunned down in the street, despite posing no threat to anyone, he was violently assaulted by a group of ICE agents. Nothing that happened a full week before could possibly have justified Alex's killing at the hands of ICE on January 24th. Now, DHS tells us it is also looking into this prior interaction that Pretty had with federal agents, though one other distinction is that in this new video, it is ICE agents that he is scuffling with, whereas this past Saturday, it was agents with Border Patrol and CBP that he wrestled with and was ultimately shot by. This investigation into this past Saturday shooting very much still ongoing. Sean?
Going to do. Here to weigh in, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. I'm going to get to what Lindsey Graham said on this program last night. We've got to have a bill. It's got to pass now. We have got to stop any support for sanctuary cities and states. And those people that have implemented those policies, in my mind, are aiding and abetting in the law breaking and obviously helping to obstruct justice. Is there any part of my legal analysis that's wrong?
No, it's 100% correct, pointing out that the fundamental problem, Sean, is cities like Minneapolis who mistakenly think they have a right to declare themselves sanctuaries for illegals. Well, I got news for them. Giving sanctuary is against the law. Specifically, the law passed by Congress. Democrats voted for it. Bill Clinton signed it back in 1996. That law requires states and cities to cooperate with ICE requests, and that means honoring detainers. Now, the state's prison system does that in Minnesota, but the Minneapolis jail system absolutely refuses. As a result, violent criminals are released onto the streets to re-victimize citizens. Ignoring that legal duty carries a punishment under that law. A city can lose federal funding, tens of millions of dollars. And if that doesn't get their attention, there is yet another law. Prosecution is an option because it is a crime to harbor or shield somebody here illegally, which is what Minneapolis is doing. The statute is 8 U.S.C. 1324. Anybody can look it up. It's pretty clear. So, Sean, it's so hard to believe that any sensible person could ever object to making a community safer by arresting and deporting alien criminals who victimize innocent people with violence like murder, rape, kidnapping, child abuse. But, these Minnesota protesters are siding with the criminals. So is Waltz and Fry, both of whom are ginning up the street rage, all to protect the worst of the worst under the masquerade of some imagined state authority that exists nowhere in the law. Right. Protesters don't have veto power over immigration enforcement.
Let me ask you about this video of
Go ahead.
Freddie from 10 days prior. And I'll concede what his lawyer is arguing, that, okay, even though we see a very aggressive, to me, violent looking, spitting at law enforcement, confrontational individual that is armed, I mean, what does that tell us about the mindset of somebody? I mean, my understanding is his own father was begging him not to do this, not to go to these things and be involved in this. But clearly, that is not a good look for him.
Well, it shows his state of mind. An angry person who is expressing his rage with assault, spitting at an officer is assault, obviously attacking a federal government vehicle and destroying the property. And then he seems to resist to some extent the arrest. It tells you a lot about his mindset that then extended a week later when he intervened, when a different group of officers, Customs and Border Patrol, were trying to fend off a protester. He gets involved, resists arrest. He's committing crimes all over the place. Now, it's tragic that he lost his life, and it may be a case of, mistaken perceptions when the shooting occurred, which invokes the imperfect self-defense. But that video tells a lot about Alex Preddy.
All right, Greg Jarrett, thank you for that analysis.